Hey, Jefi, how are you?
I'm doing fairly well. Ed, how about you?
Fairly well. I'm doing great. And everyone, I think we've got a great episode, a 10-minute takedown today. And Jefi has been very busy. And we, with everything that we see, sometimes there's opportunities that come from this. And we're calling this episode Building Backup Systems.
Yeah.
And Jefi, I'm going to let you dive into kind of what's going on and the opportunity that you're seeing that's coming out of it.
Okay. Well, I think that I had just had the perfect storm. So you know how we all kind of have these these perfect storms where my amazing assistant Raquel was on vacation for 2 weeks. My business partner Joe's dad became very ill and had to go to St. Simon's Island, and I was here in San Diego. So because I didn't have a system in place for something like this happening, which it doesn't always happen, but it would be nice to have these things under control so you can just step away. Then added on top of that, I'm actually going to Australia for a celebration of life of my father-in-law. So we have all two agents that are normally here covering for each other, myself and Joe. Raquel, she can only do what she can do. She's amazing, but my gosh, we all have our limits that I don't want to put 3 people's jobs on Raquel. So I really sat down, and I actually sat down with you, Ed, and I sat down with Cody and talked to people about, okay, what can we do to create a system that covers if this happens? And so number one, you mentioned to me after Raquel came back, of course, that Beth, your assistant, could have possibly helped me. I really appreciate you doing that the day she came home, by the way. That's great.
Yeah. Timing's everything.
Timing's everything.
But, we were kind of putting our hats on, just like problem solving. It's like, hey, how do we keep this from happening again?
Right.
And what does this mean? And that's when I'm like, well, Beth hasn't been that busy. She could have helped you. And I feel so bad I didn't think about that sooner.
Oh, you should feel bad.
Now it's like, hey, for a minute. For a minute. But I mean, the point is, think about like if everyone that has an assistant, how valuable they are. Now, if they're gone, you're the assistant.
That's right.
And you had, like you said, the perfect storm, where you had, Joe, boom, out, Raquel out for 2 weeks. Your pipeline,
well-deserved.
Boom, explodes.
Yep.
Yeah, well-deserved. Totally well-deserved.
Right.
But then you weren't expecting this explosion in business. Boom, ton of activity. You're going away, so you have to hell that planning. You need to have those systems in place ahead of time.
Right. Okay, so there's just a couple things I want to share that I learned, and like I said, I'm so grateful because I've always wanted to go on a vacation with Joe. He just had his 50th birthday. We were supposed to go to Ireland, and that didn't work out. So wouldn't it be cool if the two of us could go and have a system in place where our clients were just incredibly well taken care of? So here we go. In this storm, I'm like, I'm going to fix this problem, and here it is. So lean on somebody either within your office or outside your office. Obviously, I'm on the West Coast. Ed's on the East Coast. But Beth could have stepped in and helped me even do 3 or 10 things, who knows? So if you have someone that you collaborate with, have that discussion and see if there's some crossover to help you. Number 2, virtual assistant. I've been really resistant about getting a virtual assistant. I know many people have them and they work very well. If you had a virtual assistant that was working 5 to 10 hours a week for you, that was trained in doing things, then you could bump them up to a full-time job while your assistant was out of town. So there's that piece. I think that's an amazing piece. And also sharing a virtual assistant with somebody so that virtual assistant has the full-time hours doing the same jobs for 2 different agents is a great thing to think about too. The next thing is I have somebody, Lori, my friend Lori Wilcox, you're amazing, by the way. She helps me do a lot of boots on the ground stuff. So if I need MLS inputs done, if I need to have a photo of the front of the house taken, if I need a lockbox put on, if I need flyers in the flyer box, which by the way, we're now having to do because properties are on the market longer and people like to look at them. So note to self. Having boots on the ground is a really good thing. So even though I'm going to be in an entirely different time zone, I'm actually have 24-hour a day coverage for my clients, which is something Ed brought up. He's like, look, man, your clients are going to have people 24 hours a day working for them because you're on a different time zone. So selling, and I don't even want to say selling, but explaining to your tribe, your people under contract, your buyers, what you're doing and letting them know that you're taking care of them no matter what, having that dialogue down is really important. And then the very last thing I want to throw out is that if you have people within your office who are newer and need some experience and maybe they're not as busy as you are, having them step in as showing agents as an hourly rate to show property, because I still want to negotiate my contracts. I still want to talk to my clients and also to the buy side or the listing agent side. That is an amazing thing to have in place too. So I guess this was messy, and that's why I really wanted to talk about it, because it was a firecracker going off, but I'm leaving in 2 days and I actually feel calm because all of these things are in place.
Yeah, I think, to your credit in watching this, perfect storm, and then you're a good firefighter, so you got all that in place, but then you step back and said, okay, wait a second. What does this mean in a bigger picture, and how do I change some structure around? There's an old saying, you never want to waste a good crisis.
Right.
And so this is an example where, hey, crisis comes up, you're fighting the fire, but then you're thinking like, oh, what are the measures we need to take to keep this fire from breaking out the next time? The other piece of it is, people can get other opportunities and decide to go pursue them. So you can have a great assistant in place, and then boom, you get 2 weeks notice. And if you don't have any redundancy in there, you're the assistant.
Yeah.
While you're trying to find the new assistant and train the new assistant. So I love the fact that you're looking at having a VA, virtual assistant, to kind of, that can slide up and slide down as needed.
Right.
And is cross-trained. So that's some really good takeaways there.
Yeah.
No, that's fantastic. Any more insights?
Well, this will be really cool because we're actually going to do a podcast from Australia. So when I'm there, I'll be able to give you some live update of another 10-minute takedown of what is actually working and what's not. And this is where I would please, please, please collaborate with Ed and I. If you have ideas or things that you've done, please leave comments for us. We want to hear those because like I say, every single time we do these podcasts, we are an incredible network of agents and we can help each other. And I would love, love, love to hear what you're doing that works. So on that note, we'll be talking to you from Australia next.
We'll be coming from Australia. So that's going to be a fun episode.
Yeah, it'll be good.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. And we don't forget to like and share. And we want to hear your comments. Thanks so much.
Bye, everybody.